Alfa Romeo are well aware of their target audience. We all know an Italian car enthusiast. They can usually be found in the wine aisle of Waitrose wearing a tweed jacket, but they think it's about time that they widen their audience to a younger, more tech-savvy female audience of tweed wearing Waitrose goers. Oh, I was so nearly an Alfa Romeo target audience for a second. In all seriousness, Alfa Romeo are really serious about widening their audience whilst not diluting the current passion of the existing enthusiasts they have, and they're hoping to do it with this, the Alfa Romeo Tonale. Hi everyone, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel, Auto Social UK, the home of honest car reviews. If that sounds right up your street, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification to never miss an upload from me. 3 years is a long time in the automotive industry. Think how much has changed that we've seen in the car world in the past 3 years. And that's how long we've had to wait for the new Alfa Romeo Tonale, since it was first emerged as a concept car. The past 3 years has been especially crucial to the small SUV segment, which now counts for 1 in 4 new cars purchased, and the Italian car brand want a piece of the pie. Every powertrain will now have some form of electrification, and while there's no full EV model, the platform can accommodate it, which is a hint into the future plans of Alfa Romeo. A 271 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid with 4-wheel drive is coming, but for now UK buyers are limited to this, a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol. This is a mild hybrid that has a small 0.8 kWh battery. This gives an electric boost for a total of 158 brake horsepower and 240 Nm of torque, and it's all linked together with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. So I did use the term mild hybrid, but the Tonale is a real hybrid, as Alfa Romeo have quite cheekily named it, meaning if you're easy on the throttle at low speeds, you can actually drive the Tonale on battery power alone. Plus, you don't have any of the faff of having to plug it into a charge point. As for efficiency, you're looking at around 46.3 miles per gallon, which doesn't sound a huge amount for a hybrid, but it's a far cry from the fuel-drinking performance models. One thing cannot be denied, it's got the Italian flair. With DNA, which is shared with Jeep, it could have lost all that Alfa DNA, but it's been well and truly injected in. The design cues of the triangle grille at the front, you've got those 3-3 formation headlight lightings, which were actually first seen on the classic SZ and RZ, and the iconic telephone dial wheels. It's bold and assertive, while still managing to be wrapped in a much less intimidating petite SUV package. Yeah, it's a big thumbs up from me. They've made a special effort to make sure that the Tonale gets some of the special features that you get on the rest of the Alfa range. That includes McPherson strut suspension on the front and rear. Plus, this top of the range Veloce version also gets adaptive dampeners. All versions get some nice big Brembo brakes, and also the steering has been specially tweaked to give it that Alfa engagement. That means that when you're in dynamic mode, as well as changing the mapping of the engine and tweaking the feel that you get through the steering wheel on both the Veloce and the TI model, this version, the Veloce, also gets the adaptive dampeners, so that stiffens the suspension to give you a bit more of a rigid ride. Although, most of the time on British roads, I personally find them a bit harsh and end up turning them back to normal anyway. So I don't think you're losing out too much if you was to opt for the TI version. One of my favourite features of the Tonale is the startup graphics and the closing graphics. So as you start up the car, you get a lovely little display of the front lights and that classic triangle grille. And then when you turn the car off, you then get a display of the rear lights. Such a small thing, but I love that. Alfa have also added some really cool features to the infotainment system. Some have been around for a while. For instance, the Tonale now gets over-the-air updates and service history which is online. I'm not really sure I can think of a manufacturer which still has a physical service book, but these things are really handy. It means you can access your service history really simply, and you can also update the car, you can update the maps, how the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto works. It might have been around for a while, but it's definitely not a negative. Something I do love, however, is the fact that they've added Amazon Alexa. Now, fun fact, I like to be a little bit different, and that means that I use all of my music on Amazon, and I've also got it linked to all of my Amazon Alexas at home. So for me personally, this is great. I could link up to the Tonale and I could ask it to turn my heating on. I'm not going to show you because this is a press car and I definitely don't want people turning my heating on, especially not in today's climate. But that's really cool. I like that. You can also customise the infotainment system to have your own widgets on the home screen, which makes it really personable. And it's a really good system as well. It's easy to use and far better than a lot of the previous Alfa Romeos. Despite the fact that Alfa Romeo have built the Tonale to reach a wider audience, I'm really glad that they haven't diluted that fantastic Italian DNA from the interior. I love the interiors of Alfa Romeos. Everything feels really high quality, it's soft to the touch, you've got heavy buttons on the steering wheel, that great start-stop button on the steering wheel as well. And if you go for this top spec Veloce model, you also get those really large, really well-weighted paddle shifters behind the wheel. Everything feels really well screwed together as well. It's nice and solid. You've got a nice mix of materials. The only part that I don't like is this little bit of plastic that's behind the infotainment screen. In other countries, I've seen that this has some ambient lighting and it kind of makes it look a little bit better. But unfortunately, I think for the UK, we don't get that ambient lighting. So it just looks, I guess, a little bit like it doesn't belong in the cabin. But that is the only thing that I don't like. These seats are great, they're really soft leather, and you've got the Alfa Romeo stitching on them. And you've also got some nice piano keys for controlling your climate control. You've got that great dial for changing the DNA settings for your driving settings. And you've even got a nice heavy-weighted metal scroller for your volume. Around the back, a lot of that Alfa DNA starts to be diluted, and the Tonale just looks like another chubby SUV. There is some nice design cues. I really like the light bar which runs along the back, and it mirrors the front lights as well with those lovely 3-3 formation lights. I'm not a fan of the rear diffuser, however. Of course, we all know the Stelvio Quadrifoglio for those massive rear quad exhausts. And we do have to remember that this isn't a performance model. This is supposed to be the electrified Alfa Romeo. But I just don't like the way that they have these big holes where almost exhaust should be. Inside the boot you will find 500 litres of space, which is about average for a car in this class. It's beat by some rivals, but then it outshines some rivals as well. What I do find interesting, however, is it's only 25 litres off of its bigger brother, the Stelvio. The loading space is usefully accessible, and there's also an adjustable boot floor to add additional space or to flatten out the load area. There's also a load-through hatch behind the rear armrest. I'm actually really impressed with space in the back. I've got a good amount of headroom, a really nice amount of legroom, and what I do like is the middle seat is really usable. I could happily sit in the middle seat for long journeys. Amenities are very good as well. You've got the pull-out armrest with 2 cup holders, and you've also got not only a USB-C port, you've also got the original Type A port as well, which means you should never be caught without the wrong cable. I asked you guys to submit your questions over on Instagram about the Alfa Romeo Tonale, and there is one question which came up a lot, and that's, is it as underpowered as other journalists have said? And to be honest, I really think that comes down to how you drive it. See, I'm quite a leisurely driver, and I think that's how the Tonale has been designed to match up with people's personalities. If you drive it nice and leisurely, you don't push it too hard, then it feels more than capable. In fact, it feels like it has plenty of power. However, if you really do try to thrash this car like you would a Quadrifoglio and you put your foot down, there is such a delay in power and it holds onto gears. It holds onto gears for way too long. It's definitely not an underpowered engine problem, but it's the fact that it definitely clings onto those gears for a little bit too long. But if you do go for the Veloce model, you can get the pedals behind the steering wheel, so you can manually adapt that, and then it's a little bit easier to live with. I can understand why people think that it's a little bit underpowered, but personally, for the way that I drive, it's more than suitable. However, if you did need a bit more oomph of power and perhaps you wanted a bit more kind of instant acceleration from it, then maybe it's worth waiting for the plug-in hybrid. Everything else, however, is fantastic. This car feels so well built. It's really planted on the road, there's minimal body roll, and because of the fact that it has stiffer suspension, even in the TI model, that still has stiffer suspension than most SUVs, and that means it feels more engaging. It's really good around corners as well. Pretty much every other box is ticked, but the engine just lacks very slightly when you want to push it hard. Pricing for the entry-level TI starts at just under £40,000, cleverly priced to nip it in under the additional tax bracket. It comes with LED headlights, a rear parking camera, a powered boot lid and keyless entry. Veloce adds the bigger wheels, Alcantara seats and various fancier bits of trim. This model will set you back £42,495. In terms of rivals, both the Audi Q3 and BMW X1 can be had for less money, starting at just under £34,000, but that is for a pretty dull entry-level car. The sportier versions will set you back around the same price as the Tonale. It's been nice having a perspective of the Alfa Romeo Tonale as kind of almost their target audience. Okay, I don't quite shop at Waitrose, however, I do love an SUV, so I can appreciate it for what it's been built for. And as a car reviewer, I love an underdog. So I would far rather drive the Alfa Romeo Tonale than the BMW X1 or the Audi Q3. It just has that Italian flair, that attention to detail that I really like. Okay, the engine, it's not fantastic. It does struggle if you want to push it really hard. So those that are used to driving Alfa Romeo performance cars might feel a little bit underwhelmed. But if you drive it a little bit more gently, a little bit more like how you're supposed to drive a hybrid model, then I can't see you having any issues with it at all. But let me know, what do you think of the Tonale? Do you like it? Or do you think it's worth waiting for the plug-in hybrid? Perhaps that's going to iron out some of the issues. I'll have to wait and see. If you've enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me on this channel, then make sure you're subscribed. Until next time guys, see you later.